Yo, yo, yo. BPD and being in relationships have never been the best of friends. Uh, Relationships are often very difficult with BPD because of the nature of our sort of instability and the extreme emotional ups and downs, as well as having sort of poor body image. And a lot of people with BPD, including myself, carry shame with them, which can be very detrimental to a relationship. So here's just a few bits of advice that I've found from being in a relationship. I've been lucky enough to be in a relationship for close to 3 years now, which I never thought was achievable. So my first sort of bit of advice is actually just allowing breathing time when disputes happen. When you and your partner don't agree on something, and emotions have rised, and things are potentially getting a little bit heated. The best thing to do is actually just to take time and allow your sort of BPD brain, your emotional brain, to just cool off. I know that that can be very difficult, so feel free to sort of use whatever techniques that you know that would help you, whether that be breathing, whether it be going for a walk, going to the gym, actually just taking space from each other. You know, it can be a variety of different things. Whatever works for you, make sure that you do that. Don't act on your impulses. Please, please, please do not act on your impulses, whether that be for self-harm or, you know, running away, or breaking off the relationship, or assuming something that you don't actually know as a fact. Any of those sort of things where your brain just sort of overloads and it thinks far too much, actually this can be your downfall. It may not even be your partner that is causing you this emotional stress, it might be you overthinking. So just take that into consideration and really, really take your time to just ease through these things. Just a quick note, if you haven't hit the subscribe button, please feel free to now. Drop a comment down below on what you think of the video so far and smash that like button. My second bit of advice is actually kind of based on the fear of abandonment and almost trying to flip that on its head, where you actually enjoy time being on your own and finding things that you can do on your own that will bring you that sense of contentment and happiness and all that sort of good stuff. If you completely rely on your partner, then when they leave, it will feel like the end of the world. When they come back, it will be the best day of your life. That's kind of relating to the grey area, the black and white that we were talking about in the previous video. Finding some sort of happiness and hobbies and different things that you can do by yourself without your partner, so that you're not constantly relying on them. I've had experiences in the past where I've completely relied on my partner, and this has been the thing that has driven us away from each other, because they want some independence whereas I do not. And because of us not seeing eye to eye, then everything becomes heightened and we become so much further apart. My third sort of advice with anybody for BPD is just talk. Really, really talk about how you feel. And although sometimes you may not feel understood, oftentimes I don't feel understood, because how can someone understand what I'm thinking and what I'm going through? It's impossible. But having that feeling of someone trying to understand you is as valuable as someone actually getting that full understanding of you. It's the effort that counts. I just want someone to try to understand me, and the only way that they can do that is through me communicating how I feel, the things that I'm going through, however extreme or intense or random I might feel they could potentially be stupid or silly, which often isn't the case. Feelings aren't stupid or silly, they're always valid. Just explaining how I'm feeling to the best of my ability to my partner, so that they can get an understanding, and hopefully they can sort of comfort me and ease me through the process. But on the alternate side of that, you also have to do the same with them. You know, that can't be a one-way street. You can't expect them to go the extra mile and try to do their best to understand how you feel. if you don't try to understand how they feel. If you guys are in a dispute, if they're trying to understand your point of view and you don't try and understand their point of view, again, you're pushing yourself further away from each other. And sometimes you have to be willing to drop your ego and that little sort of voice in your brain that's saying, no, I'm right and you're wrong. Sometimes you have to get rid of that and just say, okay, let's take my shoes off and put your shoes on, and see how they feel. And often that will lead to a better, more well-rounded outcome for the two of you rather than it being for the individual. My fourth bit of advice is actually, if things aren't going the way that you want them to, and things aren't clicking between you and your partner, sometimes you just have to be willing to say goodbye, and that can be extremely painful and heightened because of BPD, because of that fear of abandonment. But sometimes if nothing can be changed to make both parties happy, something has to change within the relationship. And that's okay. Going through heartbreak is a part of life. Falling in and out of love is a part of life. You will never feel the highs if you don't feel the lows, and you will only feel the highs if you feel the lows. So if it is coming to a sort of breaking point within your relationship, don't get too hung up on it. Don't live it and breathe it and stay in that moment. Allow it to sort of flow through you and flow out of you. You know, allow yourself to mourn for this person. I always sort of allow myself a week, 2 weeks, however long it may be, until the point that I get that sort of click in my brain where it's, right, now I have to start looking after myself again, start putting myself first, and start finding what will make me happy again without my partner. And sometimes that's just the way it is. But I'm sure as life goes, if a relationship is coming to the end, there will always be a reason why. You know, everything happens for a reason. That is flow. That is just how everything is. Stick with it through those impulsive thoughts. If you believe in someone, just take your time with that process. Speaking from experience, I've had loads of those experiences throughout my life where all of a sudden something will change, something will be triggered, and it will send me off in a spiral of confusion and ups and downs and lefts and rights, and points where I don't actually know what's going to happen next in terms of how I'm going to feel about my partner. But what I've always found the most beneficial is sticking it through all of those emotions to the point where things start to ease down again. Things have eased down again, then you can actually make a conscious decision on what your next step is. Potentially get advice from a counsellor, from friends that want to understand you and things like that. I'm sure you'll come out to the right conclusion, but if you act whilst in the height of an emotional state, there's a high possibility that you'll make the wrong choice. Or not the wrong choice, but a poorly informed decision. And that's the end of this video. I hope this sort of relationship advice could be of some sort of use to you. If you are in a relationship with someone with BPD, let me know down in the comments below, and let me know sort of the traits and the quirks of being in a relationship with someone with BPD. If you do like the content, please feel free to hit the like and subscribe button. I hope you have a wonderful day. Do great things, and yeah, I'll see you in the next.